Okay, assign you under this guy. You will be... I mean, is there any territory we have over on this side of the map at all? No, we have the Arab League. Saudi Arabia decided to make their own faction. It's just for the hell of it. Just kind of stay in Alabama. That's not Alabama, that's Georgia. Just go there and hang out for a bit. Okay, so we got a new research slot. Attack. Toss attack goes up. Do you have any better tanks? No. You could make them better, though. I think. Wait, one second. Are these the ones we're actually making? We're making the Clark, and we're making the AVAC, as well as the M59 Howitzer. So we want to go back to technology. We don't want you. We want this one, actually. And then... yeah, we're making this Howitzer. We can make him a little bit better. I think that seems okay. So, I mean, our GDP is fine. We could probably pay off the debt a little bit. I mean, we're actually earning money. You forgot you had COVID? I hope you're doing okay there. Yeah, send weapons caches to the English. A crack in the facade. National Security Council has gathered by order of the President and by recommendation of Treasury Secretary McNara. Now, Bob, you told me that this isn't just about Madagascar blockade. It had better not be. You told me that there'd be no hang-ups on the issue. Not all, Mr. President. McNara shifted slightly in his seat. The Director of Central Intelligence actually asked me to have you convene in the Council. He glanced at the Director, who held a pipe to his lips, his mouth curled into a glib smile. Get on it, the President urged. With a puff of smoke, he leaned in and began. Mr. President, we have contacts high up in the German colonial administration and in Madagascar. We have total reason to believe that they have some misgivings about their loyalties to Berlin. With the weakening of the German Empire and with Hitler becoming increasingly ill, it has become apparent that the conflict may break out in the islands sooner rather than later. We have word that rebels are planning to make their move soon and the local government is divided. Nixon shrugged. Who are these contacts? Can we be sure of their sincerity? McNara pushed his glasses further up his nose for dramatic effect. The Director puffed again on his pipe. Mr. President, our contact is Reich Commissar Emil Maurice. Nixon seemed stunned for a moment, but collected himself quickly. My God, that's great. Has he been a direct line to Hitler? The Director nodded. Maurice is one of Hitler's oldest confidants. The relationship has been strained as of late, which is partly as to why he wants out, and his word, we think, is good. Nixon nodded in silence, and for several moments, began continuing. Well, damn it, keep me updated on this. How does the President not... The President not know you basically have the direct... The Japanese did nuke Pearl Harbor, yes. Hi, thank you for checking out the stream. Low manpower. Yeah, no, that's fine. Who cares? Not a big deal. So let's see. How's our campaign on the West Coast going to go? Honest, why am I so bad at this? I mean, everything in the West Coast is a little bit of a toss-up. But I still feel like... Where even is California in this list? That's right there, yeah. Everything's a bit of a toss-up, so I guess uninspiring is better than bad. You're going to do a playthrough of Serbia? Yes, when we go back to Kaiserreich, we're going to be playing a Serbia campaign there. Unless you mean in this mod, in which case, no. In search of a champion. Henry Jackson, known affectionately to his contemporaries as Scoop, sat at his desk looking expectantly at the two figures sitting opposite. Maurice Neuberger, Scoop's deputy and fellow senator in the NPP center wing, quietly thumbed through her notes as she waited for him to speak. Next to her was the nominally head of the center's or radical wing. How does this... Michael Harrington, who waited for the same expected look as Scoop himself. Two could not be more different. But as the center's leader, Scoop knew that he needed both in his party to go if he was going to get anywhere. As you know, our election prospects are looking dire, began Scoop. The right still holds plenty of influence over the party, and no progressive voter is going to vote for us. Whose last candidate was Storm Goddamn Thurmond. Worst of all, we still don't even have a candidate. Well, it would help if anyone had bothered to put their name forward, joked Harrington with a bare hint of contempt. Perhaps if we were to do more for support our core working class voters in the Midwest and elsewhere, rather than kowtowing to segregationists and filling our ranks with West Coast elite types. Nuremberger herself, a proud Oregon stock, sat up with an offended look. Everyone here is fighting for the same thing. I've done plenty to speak up for the underprivileged. At least I don't sit around writing essays about it. Scoop sat still for a moment, smiling bemusedly as his colleagues continued to bicker and snipe to one another. In a way, they were a perfect reflection of the center as a whole, determined to enact change, but endlessly at their own throat about what the change should be. Finally, he coughed, and two other immediately ceased their child's exchange and looked at him once more. You're both very different, which is exactly why we need somebody who can speak for everybody's language. If you'd have any hope in the situation, we need to move forward with one voice. Harrington and Nuremberger looked at each other, unsure of what to say. Scoop glanced out the window with an uncertain look. I don't know who this man is. We better show up soon, or we are screwed. Yeah, put you into, are we playing all Europe mod? No, we're done with that. It is pretty impressive, considering the fact we're not even a year into the game. We're not even 10 months in. A note from Russia. Presidential briefing on the free state of Madagon. Madagon is one of them. Madagon. I don't know. I don't see him. Magadan. There's like 4 people that live in you. Anyways, a note from Russia. The nation of Russia is a great unknown since the end of the Second World War. Following Barbarossa and the Soviet Union's collapse, the CSA scarcely gained any information from the vast country, except for the West Russian War of the 50s. The Russia of our imagination has become a cesspool of violent infighting, with the German bombing preventing any attempts of regional warlords to consolidate power. At least this seems to be the case in West Russia and Siberia. With a land area that stretched from the Baltic to the Pacific, there were some stretches of territory untouched by banditry and chaos that plagues the areas adjacent to the German Reich. From central Siberia to the primary recipient of the Bukharin-era Serbian plan, we have heard that a republic has risen and collapsed there between the Second World War and the West Russian War. Then there is the Russian Far East, a region that the CIA has been observing for quite some time. In brief, the legitimate government of the Soviet Union, under the provisional leadership of Gurkin Yoda, retreated there after the defeat. Subsequently, the anti-Bolshevik front sprang out from Manchuria and Harbin, making significant gains before shattering into 3 parts based on Chita, Madagon, and Amur. Particularly interesting is the briefing of the Free State of Madagon, led by Mikhail Matkovsky, a local fascist with some repute. He and his foreign minister, Nikolai Paltlin, have promised reforms and democracy should the U.S. support their bid for the, as the Matkovsky insisted, Great Crusade for Russia, as well as intelligence and information. The agency knows that their decision is the president's alone to make. However, it cautions the president that supporting any fascist bid for Russia, moreover, the aforementioned minister, Paltlin, seems to be more malleable candidate for leadership. Whatever the president decides, the agency shall carry out. But like this, how many people could live here? Is there a population 310? There's 310,000 people. A middling why? Can I do another election? Doesn't really matter where we go. Let's try the West Coast again. Double down on that one. We can't do it twice, huh? Then where do we have maybe a little bit to gain? Small lead in the Great Lakes. Let's go there. The FBI pounces. The task to apprehending the unknown White House blackmailer was hardly difficult. The P.O. box had been registered under a false name and paid for in cash, so the FBI decided to play along and write the letter agreeing to the blackmailer's demand and asking to meet in person. Surprisingly, the blackmailer showed up suspecting nothing. It was immediately nabbed by federal agents. Not a smart guy there. The blackmailer turned out to be 24-year-old NPP activist one Charles B. Juneau. But they had little success getting more than that out of him. He refused to say anything besides requests for a lawyer, but fingerprints evidence had left no doubt to him being the one who sent the envelope. The Bureau's first guess was that he's misguided progressive who wants to force through change with some underhanded methods. But that's all they have to go on. Charges of espionage and mail fraud were already being worked the way through the pipeline, and hopefully they'll go to trial by November. With any luck, and a bit of nudging from the White House, it could move up to October or late September. I mean, now he'd be safely behind bars when the midterm elections roll around. 3 cheers to Hoover and his boys. I'm sure, again, nothing bad could happen. Can you not just, like, say something in court? Like, just out loud be like, hey, Nixon kind of trying to rig some elections. Probably not great. Because, like, what happens in a courtroom is usually, like, written down. There's, like, the one lady on the typewriter typing very fast. Usually... Something happened? No? Okay. I am missing some resources, though, so we get a little bit of rubber from Brazil. We'll stop importing chromium from Cuba. Or we'll import slightly less chromium from Cuba. We don't need as much as we were getting. And with 96 command power, is there anything I can actually do to upgrade my generals at all? Landing speed. Unless this is what you already have. Yes, you already have these things. I'm gonna go for a guerrilla fighter. Treasury plus 50%? You know what? Why not? Can't upgrade you, I don't think. Can upgrade you. Both of which I don't think we really want right now. You try to check the war in Syria? Well, right now... this started as Turkey's territory. So, I mean, it's pretty much a... so far a stalemate at the moment. We'll always check back on that a little bit later. Yet another leak. Richard Nixon stands in the Oval Office, thoughtfully looking out for the window. Dawn broke far on the horizon. The blazing orange-red sun raising in the distance, casting warming light across the White House lawn. He sighs. There's going to be another long, dull day. Meetings and bills on foreign policy. A sharp rap at the door jolts him slightly. Someone wanted a word at the 6:15 in the morning. Nixon paused for a second, then nods. Come in. H.R. Haldeman steps through the doorway, a newspaper rolled up in his fist. Says, "What is this?" Nixon asks. "Bad news, Dick. We're not done with Burnham yet." Without another word, Haldeman flings the paper down on the president's desk. Turning it around, Nixon could read the hex line. Nixon supporting Guyanese segregation. Whistleblower, Nixon muttered to himself. He read the article. Somehow the news found out. Somehow they knew the government got first Burnham elected. Somehow they knew that the Rex administration still supported him and his racial segregation policies. Nixon rubs his nose, taking a deep breath. Haldeman, he starts. Get Kenny and Laird. Call a meeting. I'm gonna go and say, people probably are not so happy with Nixon in this instance. Can I do another? When's my when do I get some more poll numbers? 17 days. Polls are updated. Thank you. Still toss-ups. Very high support here. We're definitely going to win the South. There's really no chance we lose it, I think. Could win New Hampshire. I mean, I'm looking at this. I don't see us losing any seats. We can maybe lose Oregon. Maybe. But other than that, I think we're looking pretty fine. What are positions available? Improve relations with HM. Is that Himmler? With HMMLR. Yeah, sure. Why not? 30 to 5 days. Get that going. See if we can get the English on side. And next, national focus. Send more aid to people. You're sending aid to Brittany. Yeah, we'll send some aid to the Norway as well. Why not? I mean, what are you guys right now? You like 20% support for us? Not that great. An internal investigation. Despite the jubilation about catching a blackmailer, the mood in the White House and Department of Justice building quickly turned sour when the unpleasant piece of information came forward. Charles Jr. wasn't acting alone. There's no way that the envelope could have been screened and intercepted with the other incoming mail unless a conspirator on the inside had helped it get through. The Secret Service immediately began investigating potential leads in the mailroom, but to little to no success so far. The White House staff were all whispering about something that was going on, and most of them suspect that it was an information breach that involved the NPP in some way. Even worse are the rumors that going around that the other day, Gray Scare? That another Gray Scare. Okay, never mind. I understand now. Another great scare is on the horizon, but directed at any and all NPP members. Although this is currently limited to the White House, there are certainly very few possessed NPP memberships in the Nixon administration. It would lead to widespread panic if the news leaked the rest of the executive branch bureaucracy, let alone the press. What folks are you going to go down? I'm not too sure. Because, I mean, I've kind of... Mostly, like, we've gone down here. Like, we already started, like, all the way down here. Like, we couldn't even take these focuses at all. And all we can really do is kind of deal with Germany and deal with Japan. I'm assuming at some point, I don't know when, more things are going to pop up. Probably after the election would make sense to me. We're probably going to get a new focus tree there. How democracy dies. Also, let me just... Okay, no, we're fine. How democracy dies. Boris Burnham was no idiot. He was clearly that he was the key of executing any coup that was limited communication during only letting people find out about the coup once it had felt accompli. Which is why he made sure to invite American and Canadian ambassadors to a formal dinner. While they ate filet and sipped champagne, the soldiers of the Guinea's Defense Force occupied the Parliament building, shutting down the switchboards of broadcasting stations, dragging MPs out of their homes and onto police vans, and carrying out summary court-martials and sentencing for particularly egregious traitors of the Republic. It was not until Ambassador Spencer King returned to the American Embassy that he learned what had transpired, and the jury-rigged chain of communication managed to put him back in touch with Washington. Nixon called an emergency meeting with the Joint Chiefs Staff, and one conclusion was reached out. This shall not stand. Get new focus with every president. And then when the South African conflict begins, you get a new focus stream. Okay, fantastic. We're actually declaring war with Ghana. I did not expect that, but we do also get the Douglas AC-40. And our party popularity grows up a little bit. So we're now at war. Fantastic. Do I have any ships? I can't really... I'd like navally invade you. How many troops do you guys have? You have 4 divisions? Okay, I mean, that invasion seems like it'd be pretty easy. You guys, prepare your invasion from Port of Spain to basically this port. Do you have any boats in the area? I have 102 stack. You know, let's just get prepared for an invasion there. They're an airport. We have 200 planes here, but I don't think most would actually reach. Actually, you would. 120. If we send you to here, you can fly over this area, do a little bit of close air support and strategic bombing. Just gonna bomb Guinea into the ground. You should be able to invade once you actually get there. You're on your way, which is fine. Like, how? Why would you? Has Burgundy finally done it? The Swiss Simultaneous Service has issued a press release with worrying news. Last night, their HQ in Zurich noted that this seismological event somewhere in the Burgundian Jura that lasted 4 seconds and reached 4.6 on the Richter scale. Due to the lack of aftershocks, they concluded that this was not natural activity, but was likely a man-made incident. Several Swiss radiologists have also reported a spike in airborne radiation equivalent to a mild nuclear meltdown or an atomic air blast. Governments worldwide have arrived at one conclusion. The Burgundians have successfully tested a nuclear device twice as strong as the one dropped in Pearl Harbor in 1945. With the shadow state remaining tightly lipped as ever, the news is likely to never be confirmed. Still, it seems that 1962 will be remembered as a dark point in history. The year Burgundy has ascended to the ranks of a nuclear power. God help us all. And a solid NPP campaign. Good news. Good work, everybody. That was in here, I believe. We're going to get some more polling results soon, I hope. And we'll see how that goes. And, like, 8th Division should be able to kill 4, like, really under any circumstance. I know we have horrible war support. There you go. You guys ready to invade? Let's go. You do have, like, 3 ports. So we probably actually could have invaded any one of these and we'd be able to get it done. Yeah, so we can see that there are 1 unit there. Unsurprising, there are some troops there, but we should be able to win no matter what anyways. So I think the West Coast is looking good. Actually, let's do 1 more on the West Coast. Actually, what we did is the Great Lakes, I think. Oh, look, we've landed our troops here. And you can also be extremely aggressive. A silent spring. Man is a part of nature, and his war against nature is a war against himself. These were a few of the chilling words marine biologist Rachel Carson used to decry Americans' ignorant addiction to pesticides in her newly released book, Silent Spring. A product of nearly 4 years of original research into government funding eradication campaigns, the 400-page publication asserts that the chemicals used for pest removal, DDT, amitrozolide 2,4-D, are far more than the vermin they are meant to exterminate. They instead seep into the soil and render it impotent, she claims, and lingers in the fruits and crops Americans eat. In response to the accusations, DuPont and Visco Chemicals have filed libel suits against the researcher. Their efforts to preserve their standing have thus far, however, been styled by both the court of law and the court of public opinion. The book itself has shot up in first place in the New York Times bestseller for nonfiction, a sign of the American people's approval of whistleblower act increasingly compared to Upton Sinclair. Leading scientists have now remarked that the nationwide ban on synthetic poisons American laboratory peddle is now only a matter of when. Again, you're dead. You know, we've won the war. As soon as we don't have infantry equipment. That's kind of embarrassing. Yeah, you're slowly deploying. You should be okay. I know a lot of these guys I think are National Guard units. They're not super great. Wasn't the EPA started like 1970? So we still got a little bit of time until then. Georgetown should fall soon. That should lead to us being victorious. You might as well go here. You go here. And with Georgetown falling and this city falling, that really should just kind of be the end. National focus. Now let's go for helping out Brittany. You'll be done in 28 days. And can I support more people here? I could if I had political power, which I definitely do not have. Peace conference over. Calculating effects. I'm assuming I just won our war here. United States of America have defeated Guyana in a American policing accident. Injustice anywhere is a threat to injustice everywhere. I guess we're just gonna hang out down here for now because I really don't know where else to put you. The United States has intervened in Guyana. After several days of sporadic fighting between Guyanese militia forces and the forces of the American Expeditionary Forces landing on the coast, the Pentagon announced that the Guyana's President Forbes Brennan was taken into custody this evening. American troops now patrol the streets of Palomino and Georgetown, and in the interim capacity, the legitimate government of Guyana's people assumes control of the nation. With widespread disorganization reported within the Guyanese military following former President Berman's coup, defense analysts have expected the American policing action would face little opposition. State Defense issued a press release welcoming the intervention's success and the return of genuine democracy in Guyana, while expressing high hopes for the future cooperation with the government in waiting on matters of mutual agreement. Going up with our faction, we lost 38 troops. I feel like that is a pretty good operation. We're missing tactical bombers. Okay, we built a handful of tactical bombers. I gotta figure out which one of these is the tactical bomber. That's kind of more of a challenge. Your transport plane, your spy plane, your interceptor. I'm looking for tactical bombers, I think. It says that you're a tactical bomber, so I guess I'm going to go with you. And we'll also have 4 factories for these guys ready to go as well. Construction is still going well on our military factories. In fact, we'll make even more. Factories for everybody. Okay, you have defeated them. Mongolia has been unified. And for now, keep on getting fed artillery pieces because we can. And anti-tank. I mean, we have bazookas right now. We're making bazookas, so you might as well upgrade them to be a little bit better. Yeah, so you become significantly more powerful. Japan is... I mean, they are looking a little bit scary. I know at some point they're going to have a... Oh, polls are updated. We'll check on those in a moment. I know they're going to have like an economic collapse sooner rather than later. Germany's going to collapse with the Civil War. But really, it's not too bad. We have high hopes. Okay, so the upcoming Senate race, we have a pretty good lead, of course, still in the South. No one's surprised by that. Upper South, we should also probably win both. We're looking pretty good on the West Coast. We have a small lead in 3 different states. Toss up in Alaska. And in the Great Lakes, only a small lead in 2 states. Illinois, we do have a strong lead, actually, which is pretty good. He should be dying soon. Yeah, I just don't remember exactly when it is that he ends up kicking the bucket. Mostly because there's actually a lot of American events. Like, even compared to, I thought, like, South Africa had a lot of events. I thought that, what was it? Orenburg, and then we played as, the scientist guy, I don't remember what his name is. I thought those guys had a lot of events, but no, America has a shit ton of them. Death of a Supreme Court Justice. That news is coming from the wires. One of the senior-most justices of the United States Supreme Court has passed away. A conservative, they wrote several notable opinions throughout their tenure, both concurring and dissenting. In addition, they were the swing justice in more than one case. However, this is a solemn moment comes at an opportunity to change the balance of the highest court in the land. We'll have to get the right nominee and manage the Senate process carefully, but if we succeed, there'll be a major victory as for us in the administration. A solid NPP campaign. You said you should be dying in October? Well, there's like 4 more days left, so we'll see if that ends up being the case. When's the election then? Because if you've been elected in 1960, there should be an election in 1964. Like, when's the actual presidential election? The RD campaign crashes and burns. Where do they crash and burn? I don't know. It does not say. Hoover's offer. Good afternoon, Dick, J. Edward Hoover said as he stepped onto the Oval Office, quietly shutting down the door behind him. Nixon forwarded his bow and replied, I told you not to call me that. Tell me a lot of things, Mr. President. Well, I've had some postpone the one press conference where the media wasn't going to go after my head. This better be good. Well, Hoover had to say it wasn't good, but it certainly was important. The FBI's investigation into the origin of blackmailers had seen little success, but there still remained the question of what to do with the blackmail itself. Hoover ever cautiously considered asked the president whether it would be the best to seal it away in some classified vaults or destroy it as much as possible. Either way, it would hopefully stay buried forever, although it could see some value in the future. The existence of the blackmail could, after all, provide a rather large boon to the president in the upcoming midterm elections. Keep them secret. This is, if I remember correctly, for Watergate. Maybe 1164 for the election? Okay. The Class 3 Senate elections, the day everybody's been waiting for. After months of politicking, spending, debates, stump speeches, and the campaign's rise and fall, the big night is here. Americans from every walk of life are gathered around radios, television sets, or on street corners to hear the news. Will their candidate win? Will the opponent go down in defeat? What is the big news story tomorrow? What newcomer will upset the incumbent, and what damaged office holder will defy the odds and get another term? That and more will be announced tonight. Of course, there will be hundreds of races for mayors, governors, representatives, and our important races in their own right, but it's a Senate election that most people are focused on. The political upheaval from the Republican, Democrats, and National Progressive Party coalitions. The upper house of Congress has become a battleground for America's heart and ideals. The makeup of the Senate will soon be revealed to the waiting public. Secret, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Shh. The new senators have been elected. I assume. So let's go through the list. Connecticut, the Republicans have defended their seat. New Hampshire, the Republican Party has lost their seat. I mean, so far it's -10. The far right got 10 seats. Defended, defend. Democratic Party's lost their seat. I guess we can actually, it's easier if I actually just look at this. So it's a little bit more contentious, kind of up in the, it's not the Midwest. This is just like the Rust Belt. Like, I'm not American. Okay, no national focus set. Did we get a new focus tree? Not quite yet. We can also start kind of planning things into Japanese, but I think we kind of wanted to support, just do one side of the focus tree first, and we can worry about the other one afterwards. We are missing a little bit of rubber, so Brazil can't actually provide us with the rubber we need. And we shouldn't be getting those two from them anyways. So there we go, we're now looking good. The opposition campaign, you don't do anymore. American society is somewhat united and will have no significant electoral impacts. Everybody's working together well. That's good to hear. The state of Turkestan is going to war on the Republic of Karakalpakistan.